Welcome to Rick's Corner. You know, on many of my shows I talk strictly about bodybuilding and nutrition and fitness, which is a very big part of my life and a very big part of my audience. However, I have another audience, another big part of my life, which is pro wrestling. And I've kind of put it on the back burner the past year because I think bodybuilding was taking off to be much bigger. Wrestling's always big, but in the past recent months I see that WWE has dropped a little bit in attendance. They've dropped and they've lost some money. And I still teach it and I still have a love for it, but it just seems that more people are getting into bodybuilding now than wrestling, and I don't want to let it go, but I still want to talk about it because I have an audience that wants to know more about pro wrestling. I get tons of calls on a weekly basis of people who want to train with me for wrestling. I get all ages, anywhere from 9 years old to 40. And I don't discourage them, but I also don't encourage them because it's a business that's very hard to get into. It's very demanding on the body. What you see on TV isn't what you get when you're in the ring. I know it looks glamorous and the lights and the fame and all that, but it's hard to get to that point. You don't make it overnight. It takes years and years and years. And so you people that call me and you tell me that I want to be a WWE superstar and I have my music and my finishing move, more power to you. I do understand that. I know you have a dream. I had a dream as well. But you have to be realistic in that dream. You have to live it for a dream, but don't live in the dream. And realize that it takes a lot of work to get there. You've got to be willing to put the time in the ring. You've got to be able to afford your classes. You know, I mean, my classes are not expensive, but in 1965 when I started, I paid $25 per class 5 days a week. That was $125 a week. That's a lot of money back in that day. And I did it for 8 months, every day until I got my first match, and then I was still learning. And you learn for years and years and years. You never stop learning. You're working with different people. You're working with a different method, a different style. You have to work in audience. You have to have character development. You have to have the charisma of the body and everything that goes to the ring to give you the it factor, which most people don't have. They're either a superstar or they're not. I mean, and most people don't have all those elements. It takes a lot to have that. And you can't develop charisma. You either have it within you or you don't. If you walk into a room or a party and people notice you and say, oh, look at that guy or look at that girl, and they got such things going about them that I notice, they have the factor. If you don't get that, then you probably don't have it. So you have to be real with yourself. And there's schools around the country and people ask me, well, can you come train me in my state? No, I can't. I'm in California. I'm in Los Angeles. If you're here locally, you can come to my class. I don't go outside LA to train anybody. It's not worth it for me, and it's not going to happen. You ask me if I know of schools around the country. Not really. I don't pay attention around the country of what the schools are. They pop up and they close just as quick as anything. There's no money to be made really, and they can't afford to stay into business. And most of them charge about $3,000 or $4,000 up front. So I know a lot of people don't have that. When I tell people I have a daily rate, they even wonder about that. They can't even afford it, and it's not expensive. So if you don't have the money to fund yourself to become a wrestler, then don't even start the training, because if you go 2 or 3 weeks and you quit, then you gave up. But that's the first question out of somebody's mouth. What do you charge? Well, it really wouldn't matter what I charge if it's your desire to do it. You'll find a way to make it work. So I want to express this point because it is important to know what you're getting into. I had a lady call me yesterday. She wants to bring her 9-year-old son. I said, I don't think you should. She said, why not? It's his dream. All he does is watch wrestling. Now, I've heard this a million times. My son watches wrestling night and day. He knows all the moves. He jumps off the couch. He lands on the pillows. Well, I said it's not like that. And this is a big man sport. And trampolines don't work, and couches don't work, and pillows don't work. And when he gets into the ring and he takes one bump and bangs his head and he gets a headache, he's going to say, I didn't know it was like this. Well, it is. And I have the injuries to prove it. I have so many injuries you have no idea. Today, my joints and everything are shot from what we do in the ring. So take this into consideration. I also want to give a shout out to my friend Chris Raber, Bambi Killer in Austria, who has a Catch Wrestling Dojo, and he has a gym and a training facility there for wrestlers in Austria. If you want to look him up, he's a top-notch guy and he knows what he's doing. So you're in that area, look him up. Chris Raber, Bambi Killer is his name, and it's in Austria. So that's my take on wrestling. I also have sponsors, as you know, and at the beginning of my shows there's banners. If you click on them, just look. It will help because these guys pay to get the show on the air for you to watch for free. And I would appreciate that. I also like to go to my website, rickdrasin.com. I have a book on bodybuilding from the 70s. It's called Bodybuilding for Dumbbells. It's a download. It's also a hard copy on Amazon. A very popular book. I have another one I wrote, The Wikipedia of Steroids. Now, I don't advocate the use of steroids by any means, but you should have knowledge on what they are because many of you write to me or you'll send me messages on my YouTube what to take and what do I do and what is it about, and I tell you, get this book and read about them. Don't take them, just read about them and see if it's for you or not, because you can really damage yourself if you do, and you want to be careful about what you put in your body because it can really mess you up. So the book's very informative, it's very inexpensive, $14.95, and it could save your life. So that's my steroid handbook and bodybuilding for dumbbells. Now if you really truly want to become a wrestler, if you really truly want to do this, then seek out a school near you, or if you're near me, come see me and take a few bumps in the ring and roll around and see if it's really what you want, because you're going to work hard for hours in the ring and you're going to bump constantly and roll, and you're going to walk out sore, not like you do in the gym, but from the ring, and things are going to happen. You get sprained muscles, you break bones, you get your nose broken, you lose a tooth. These are all accidental things that happen, and you can't control them. They just happen. Anytime two bodies collide in the ring, it's like a car accident, and something's going to happen. So you have to learn the proper way to train with a guy that you trust in the ring that's not going to hurt you. I won't get in the ring with new students, and I won't do things with them because I know I'll get hurt. Because they won't listen, they'll try something, and then you end up, boy, your timing's off. It's like dancing with violence, like ballet with violence. If someone doesn't move the way you want to move, accidents happen. If you want to be a pro wrestler, remember this. It takes years. You learn, you do independent shows like Mickey Rourke did in the movie The Wrestler. You might make some money, you might only make 20 bucks. Chances are you won't make anything. But if you get 20 bucks for gas, you're lucky. And this can go on for 8 to 10, 12 years. And this is all you're going to get. And then if you try out for WWE, you're up against thousands and thousands of people. And they look at guys 6'2" and over that are 240, 250 pounds, muscular guys that have what they want to invest their money in to make you a superstar. If you're over 35, 40 years old, they're not going to invest in you. If you don't have the body or look that it takes, they're not going to invest in you, so you might as well forget even going. And I've had some of you ask me, what about Rey Mysterio, who's only 5 feet tall? Well, Rey came from a family of wrestlers. His father, his grandfather, everybody were in the business. So he had a foot in the door because of that. This happens to a lot of wrestlers because their fathers and grandfathers were wrestlers. So that's a different thing. This is how it works in wrestling. This is also how it works in show business. And wrestling is part of show business. So just take that into consideration. If you have any questions, you can contact me through my website. If you want to learn how to wrestle, just be aware it's costly and it's time consuming. And you got to be able to make every class. You can't just come once in a while and think, okay, I'm a superstar. And that's it. So for you wrestling fans out there, I did the show specifically for you because you ask me all the time. For you bodybuilding fans who don't care about wrestling, then this show's not for you. So don't ask me where's Rich Piana. He'll be on the bodybuilding shows. All right. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching Rick's Corner, and stay tuned for more on bodybuilding and wrestling. I'll see you next time.
It's rickdrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.